What's up, bikers? This is your program for the 20th of October, and we're coming to the end of our mini cycle of super strong. And it's going to finish with 20 rep max back squat. We're going to cut into the first week where we explained a fair amount of the preparation and the positions and things about the back squat. So generally what we say is that you do 2 to 5 minutes of steady state cardio to get your heart rate up, and that way then you can start flowing a little bit and start focusing on the target areas that we need to get mobile to get into good positions for the squats. So Pat's going to demo on the box here, just like you're lunging onto a box and then pushing that knee quite far forwards. So what we're trying to do with this position is replicate an extreme bottom position of the squat, but just with one leg, so you can focus a lot of weight into the hip and open out that hip capsule. So pushing the knee forwards, because these squats are going to be very determined by ankle mobility, you can use this as a hip and ankle opener by pushing the knee forwards and out as far as you can. Now Pat can lean further forwards and put his armpit onto his thigh and apply more pressure downwards onto this, and this will help more with ankle. Or you can put both elbows inside of his knee, push that knee out to the side, drop further, and that'll put more emphasis on the hip. And then once you've done that for about 2 minutes that side, swap sides. So that'll be the same, similar on the other side. So that's 4 minutes total. Then you're going to go back to the first side and you're going to get a little bit more dynamic on it. So you're going to push that knee out to the front where it was, but then to the side, and then you're going to bring it back and you're going to do some semicircular motions with that knee, really directed by where your hips are, and you're going to grind this out. Now, to add even more benefit to this, would be good if you had a band all the way up to the groin, and this could be attached to a rig. I don't expect that someone's going to be holding this for you. You want a lot of tension on it. So this in a rig, pulling the hip capsule out, is going to help massively. You can do that on the first set of 2 minutes. And then on the second set, sorry Pat, foot back on the second set, that band might be around your ankle, and it's going to really help more with the ankle mobility there. So that's hips done. Then you want to open up the thoracic spine, so you can, because we've set up for a back squat, you can use the bar in the rig, and you can hold the rig, pulling yourself down here. Sorry, Pat, that's what you're here for. So this is a really good one because the position of the bar, the height of the bar is going to be about where you're going to put it for a back squat anyway. So here, you can pull, open up your chest, and then using your hips to guide, keeping your obliques tight, thinking not so much about extending your lower back, but forcing through your upper mid back to get that T-spine nicely opened out. And then once you've done that for 2 or 3 minutes, a couple of times, stepping off, and then just do a set of 20 air squats to start, and then see how you feel. If you need to do more mobility, then think about the awareness of the squat. Is it that you're rounding or anything like that because your awareness is slightly off because you haven't done this type of thing for a while? Or is it that you're genuinely tight and you need to work more time? So if it's hamstrings, you can do some hamstring stretching, mobility, and then, only then when you're prepared, you start loading up for the back squat. And then once you've done that preparation, 20 rep max back squat, note it down. We might use that in the future, and it's good for you to know what you're capable of. Stay safe. Then it'll be the final week of front squats, or variation of the front squat. Move on to front squats. So this is very subjective as to how you do it, depending on mobility, previous injuries, awareness, and how comfortable you feel on your shoulder. So Pat, you just step under the bar and face outwards. So always when you squat, you're going to be looking into the rig. You're not going to bring the bar out this way. This is only for demo purposes. So for the front squats, We haven't really done these very much because of the restrictions that bikers generally have. If you can do it the full front squat way, then perfect. Pat, just go under the bar. So what we're looking for here is a full rack, we call it, on the shoulder. So the bar's weight is on the shoulder here. Elbows are nice and high, core's locked down nice and tight. And then from there, you're not death gripping. It might be tight in your wrists, but this will actually help with flexibility if you can bear it. Now go back in. If you can't get into that position, it might be wrist issues. More than likely, it's flexibility and mobility issues in your shoulder, pec minor and lat that's going to restrict that elbow coming up into that good position. So you can work some of that, see if you can get in that position. We're going to do 5 sets of 5, reasonably heavy. I want you to do the same weight across all 5 sets. This is an assistance movement for the back squats, so it doesn't have to be max. It's not going to crush you, and we will be adding weight over the next 2 weeks. Now, if that's a struggle in that position there are 2 more ways that we can do this before changing the type of squat. The second way is by crossing your arms over, creating that shelf, and using your thumbs to guide the bar. But with this, because the balance point is very central, it's not as stable, but it's much better for the wrists, and it puts the weight out the front so that you can still front squat without all of the mobility needed to do it the traditional way. And the third way is, if either of those feel dodgy, you need to feel a little bit of feedback into the bar and stabilizing it. Bands are fine, you can use belts, something stable. You're going to grip these, push your elbows under, and then stand. And then this way, you get all of the benefits and positions of the front squat without the wrist flexibility needed that might make it too uncomfortable or potentially injury likely on your wrist. So how's that? Traditional front squat, crossed over with thumbs, then bands, and then, and only then, if you can't do any of those, we're going to sub this out for a Zercher squat. The worst part is getting in and out of it. So Zercher squat, weight out the front. It's the same principle as the back squat, but it's going to take all of the pressure off any kind of mobility, but it's going to put quite a lot there onto the inside of the elbow. So as I say, a towel around it or a fatter bar, you're not going to be going as heavy with that. It's a very, very good movement in its own right, but only sub that if you can't do any of the variations of front squats. Back. So you've seen the setups for the front squats. Is this actually working? Promise we haven't been drinking. The front squats this week will be 5 by 5. You've done high volume 20 rep max tests on the back squat. Hopefully you've got some left. Test yourself. 5 sets of 5 on front squat. Do the same weight across all sets, but super heavy if you can do it. And then we'll move on to the workout. Because of the volume through the squats today, it's going to leave you pretty fatigued. We don't necessarily want to put any more kind of weight through, so we're going to double up on 2 pieces of cardio equipment, preferably a run and some calories on an assault bike to raise the intensity and lower the time under tension. So it would be 200-meter run and then 15 calories on the assault bike every 3 minutes for 5 rounds. So super capacity. It's going to be really good for the lungs and get you a little bit charged up and fit. Now, if you don't have anywhere to run or an assault bike, then you can twin that up and you can do 15 calories on a ski erg and then 15 calories on the rower. But just make sure that you're hitting these super fast. You're trying to get it done in as little time as possible and then not worrying so much about the recovery before the next one. Just get it done and use the next one coming around as an incentive for the speed. And then moving on to core for day 1. Core for day 1 is, we've done this before, 10 minutes, accumulate as much time in an L position, preferably a hang as possible. So quick demo here. So straight out, keep keeping it 90 degree for as long as you can, time it, accumulate as much as you can within 10 minutes. If that's a struggle, then bend at the knees, keeping the feet in front of the knee. If that's a struggle, all the way down. If that's a struggle, then a hollow position with straight legs engaging through the core. So there are your options. Accumulate as much time in this position as you can within 10 minutes, note it down, and we will do it again in the future. So it's good to have a target to try and beat. Deadlifts. So setup, warm up, the same as last week. We're gonna go 7 heavy, and then 2 sets of 7 at 90%, resting as you need to in between. So we're putting a bit of volume through the hinge. It's a very important movement to get right for safety, but obviously because it's going to be really good for that riding position. So make sure you stay safe, go heavy, and we'll move on to the second part of day 2. So the next part, so this is part B on day 2, is super upper body, mega massive superset. And it is rest pause. So if you didn't see this a couple of weeks ago, it's basically a maximum set, then take 5 breaths and do another maximum set of the same movement. Take 5 breaths and another maximum set. So it's 3 sets. So the first one is going to be push-ups. Pat's going to get down. If you can't do 10 push-ups, then go on your knees and scale down, but still get the range so that you've got all the range through your shoulder and elbow, chest to the floor. Once you've done as many as you can and you fail, just unload. So sitting back in your heels or standing or whatever, have a shake out, take 5 slow breaths, get back down, do another set. Do that twice, and that's your rest pause done for the push-ups. Then you're going to make your way over. Maybe take you 30 seconds between that and the pull-ups. So strict pull-ups, full scale with bands or a cable pull-down machine. You can use bands by pulling them down. What we want to see is that your first set is 8 or more, around about that. Then your second set is going to be way less. It might be 3 or 4. And then your final one might just be 1 or 2. Once you've then done that, rest pause set on ring dips. If you find these a struggle, particularly with the rings wanting to come out, you can put a band round and hook your knees in. You can use a static bar, although I much prefer rings for stability and shoulder health. So rest pause set of ring dips, rest a little bit, then ring rows. Your feet don't have to be on a box for these, so we want a bit higher volume, being nice and straight through the legs, tight through the core, a big pull, thumb to armpit, so thinking about range, bam. A rest pause set, so as many as you can, it might be 20 of these, then pull yourself up to standing, 5 breaths, go again 2 times. Then onto a box, you do some dips this way on. So these are proper studio body pump dips, but very good for stretching out that shoulder that you've just worked on the dips previously. And then triceps, so focusing on those triceps. Pretty simple. Be cautious of any tension in your tendons. If you do feel that in the position, then just miss them out completely. And then the final one is not going to be rest pause. It's just going to be one massive set of 20 to 30 reps of band pull aparts, thinking very much about strengthening the upper mid back and not necessarily the traps at the top. You're going to do that 2 times round. You can rest a couple of minutes between each round, but moving with purpose all the way through, and that's going to be an absolute blaster for the upper body. And that's it for part B of day 2. The workout for day 2 is going to be 5 rounds of 22 wall balls, 22 kettlebell swings. So wall balls first, prioritizing the squat as always. Such an amazing movement. Wall balls for generating some power, muscular endurance, and certainly some capacity. Once you've done those 22, nice quick transition to a kettlebell swing. It would be good if you did a hingey swing today. So Russian swing, but maybe send it to the top, raise the intensity. It depends what kind of weight you want to go. Stay safe and do 16 to 24 or go heavy, test yourself. But it should be that it's a hinge. If you stay upright and you do more CrossFit style American swings, it's going to be very quaddy. You want to be following the kettlebell with your torso and arms and face to put all of that onto your glutes and hamstrings, because it is a hinge and a squat. Hinge, squat, hinge, squat. If you're doing squat, 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 imbalance, absolutely awful workout. It's going to be too much for the quads. That's it, 5 rounds, 22, 22. Then moving on to some core. Core today, mega massive Russian twists. Heels off the ground, down to one side. You can touch if you like. Add intensity by not touching. You can use, this is a 9 kilo or 20 pound ball. You can use a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a plate. Anything with a bit of weight. In as few sets as possible, you're going to do 200 reps. It's a massive amount, so choose a weight that's going to be achievable to do that. You should be looking to do this in under 10 minutes. So set a time cap. If it takes you more than 10 minutes, then cut off there, record how many you did, and try and beat that next time. And that's it for day 2. Day 3, we're looking for a new person to demo. Pat's been sacked. Have a go. Yes, there you go. Bit speed. Wow. So we're looking for 6 sets of 6 each side. Start with your weak side. Start light. Go for speed and positions. Nice and long, landing into that lunge. Then, as you're standing up, kettlebell can come down. So the importance of this is controlling yourself around the weight, stabilizing in that long lunge position. 6 times 6, test yourself with the weight, rest as much as you like in between, and then we'll move on to part B. Part B is the final of the series of floor pressing. So hopefully you should be meeting the same weight as you did do the last 2 weeks, but for more reps. So we're looking for 20 to 25 reps of what you've done the previous week. If you haven't done the previous week, just work up to 20, 25 reps times 3, get some volume through. And then moving on to the workout. This next workout, a little bit different. We're looking for some agility, some good movement, some awareness. We're going for 1 minute of 3 super low, toey, jumpy squats, technical, into a straight arm plank and straight back up. Much like a burpee, but your chest and thighs don't go to the ground. It's going to burn the quads, bit of lactic in there. 1 minute. It's going to be a gasser. Then you're going to pick up the kettlebells and you're going to walk. 50-meter farmer carry. These are super light. I'd expect you to use as heavy as you can handle. That's going to be gassy in itself, working the grip. Then you're going to put it down. It should take you around about a minute. Then 1 more minute of the squats into burpee holdy thing. That's going to gas you out. It's going to be a very different stimulus to what you're used to. Going to make you super fit. Rest 2 minutes after your first round. So you can set the timer and go every 5 minutes. So it's 3 minutes of work or thereabouts. 2 minutes rest, 3 to 5 times, depending on what you can handle. Try and aim for 5. Be good for the quads, good for general fitness, but in a different kind of way. And then moving on, if you've got anything left, to a little bit of core to finish. The final part of today is 50 toes to bar for time. It might be fast, might be slow. Set a time cap of 5 minutes. If you don't get it done in 5 minutes, then cut off there. If you can't do full toes to bar, straight leg raises. We do have scaling options in a video, but Pat's just going to demo super fast. A nice kip, hitting the bar every time. Break up into small sets is my suggestion. So don't go crazy on your first one. If you can do over 10 in a set, don't do that in your first set because you will blow out, and do singles or doubles to finish. If you can't do full toes to bar, then straight leg raises, knee raises are absolutely fine. I would prefer you to be on a bar than off a bar. So although this is core, if you can't feel like you grip that much, the best next thing is doing it on rings. That will lighten the load on the grip a little bit and help with the flow. And that's it for day 3. Day 4 is going to be a capacity day. So if you're beaten up, if you need some recovery, then get after the recovery steady state. You know what to do. If not, and you want some more work, this is going to be great. Row as far as you can in 40 minutes. On minute 1, you're going to get off the rower, do 4 burpee box jumps, then get back onto the rower and start contributing to your total meterage that you're going to try and aim for as much as you can within that 40 minutes. Then on minute 2, you're going to get off and do 5 toes to bar or variation of. If you can only do 3 full toes to bar, so be it. Get it done, get back on the rower. The key is here to not spend more than 30 seconds on the movements so that then you can get back onto the rower and get a big blast before then getting off and doing the opposite movement. So it's 40 minutes of full work. See how far you can get by doing those numbers. 4 burpee box jumps, 5 toes to bar, row as far as you can. And that's it for the week. You can expect a deload or reload week next week. We're going to be doing some cool new things with some new movements, so be excited for that. And as always, if you've got any questions, send them through. Hopefully the website is reasonably cool by now, and you might be accessing some of the programs online, if not now, but next week. Any questions around that, send that through too. Happy riding, happy gymming. See you next week. Peace.